while I'm still in Pittsburgh, I'm going to keep reviewing Pittsburgh and do it openly. At this Carnegie, whatever, science museum on the river, it's open. There's people in there. They've been in there for a few days. I don't know why with the coronavirus. You can see there's people and children. A lot of people with children go to this place. Of course, I'm always suspicious of people moving around, putting money into businesses. And the Carnegie name I don't necessarily trust, looking back at the banking records and black money and laundering money over the past. I think generally we know a lot of this stuff has been a front for other things because, you know. Anyway, then you got this crazy boat. Like, see this stupid boat? There's these boats with these perverts, and they'll talk shit to people that they're against because they're all in like some type of evil witch coven or something like that. Over there, this is where this river splits, and it goes in one direction along the city, and then that bridge is where there's like a little like point that comes out, and that is where there's some weird boat club with like a castle tower looking thing marked on it on the map on Google. And all these perverts seem to go on the boats. And then right here along the river, a little further down, there's a bunch of places where boats can just come up right to the edge of the river. Right here, right up to this path. And a lot of perverts, and it seems like people on drugs and alcohol, and they have music blaring at night, like to collect, and then they go around the river and they say weird things. Some of them the other night were all saying welcome to Islam in their dark ritual satanic mass or whatever they do, and they're all morons because why would you not worship God? Because God cast Satan out of heaven and he's down in the abyss in hell or in the ring of fire. I don't know at what exactly is the outcome right now, but if you read the Gospels and the Bible and that stuff, you'll see, you'll figure that out. But anyway, it's stupid and vain to worship false gods and demons. That's because people just want to be naughty and rebellious and do evil up to beyond naughty and rebellious, and actually they do fucking evil. Sickening evil, as God calls it in the Bible. Sickening evil. And he says he lets them have their disgusting, sickening evil delights on this earth for a little while, but then he'll destroy and collect debt on the wicked, and he'll punish the wicked. He says the wicked by no means go unpunished. God, creator of all things, God. Wonderful, blessed God. So, anyway, on that little point out there, they have their little boat club, and they go around. Here's some weird submarine thing, too. They have tours. They keep opening that up and, like, letting people go in and out of there. Again, a lot of people go in and out of there with kids. Gotta wonder, because, so you see, like, here's, like, a group with some kids again. They seem relatively normal, but who knows. Now, in the front, I saw a lot of people in the parking lot living with kids. The other day, I was about a mile or two down this path that way, past the city, to where there's some apartments, and I was sitting on a bench for a while, drying my stuff out, because I'm a homeless person, and I'm sitting there, and some school of children, probably 24 children, maybe, and 3 camp counselors or something, come by. I think it was 2 females and 1 male, 1 gay-looking black male, and then 2 white witch-looking younger women, and they were saying all this creepy stuff. They say all these creepy things to the kids. The kids look kind of confused. They walk by me. They go about 100 feet or less away. I can hear everything they're saying. They're doing some type of weird ritual with the children right on the riverbank. And then I walked down there and I called them out on it. And I told all the children about Christ. And I said all this witch stuff they do, they're all lying, this and that. The one girl got real mad. Now, I don't know why they're in a summer camp at all with this coronavirus protocol. I don't know why there's people collected. I don't know why this, like, children's geared museum, Carnegie Museum, is even open. I don't know why there's summer camps even open. So, Pittsburgh again, plus the weird, creepy science experiment stuff they have going on. Now, ironically, I'm sitting here at this science place. But out there, they got that weird thing. Up in Moon Run, they got some shady terrorist hotel, Hilltop Inn. I'm going to still put that on blast because there's drug overdoses, shootings, sex trafficking going on in there, murders, drugs, and sex trafficking. And the cops damn well know. Crafton cops know. They told me because I got picked up on an old warrant I had for a misdemeanor DUI where a long time ago I was at a fight at a bar and I was out back and I was going to go and the cops questioned me and asked me if I'd take a DUI, and I refused. Anyway, so I was in there for a few days, but they told me that there was a shooting there over a bad sex deal. So think about it. All that's going on up there, Moon Run, next to Crafton, Hilltop Inn. Then you got this down here. I've talked to many of the locals. A bunch of them admit to me that there's witches everywhere. Goddamn evil, demonic, cackling witches. And then there's prostitution been going on down at the some of the churches. Somebody confessed to me last night about a place called The Mission where there was a gay black guy who was prostituting in the basement. So overall, not looking too good here, generally. And obviously witchcraft, crime, murder, prostitution, and all that evil sinfulness and lying and false doctrine all obviously goes together. So you can see the connections. Then this stuff with the science, it goes to the point of overboard. When science, objective science on the surface is nothing but obvious facts and writing down things that you see plainly. You know, oh look, one thing, oh here's another thing, oh now we have two things, look at that, that's mathematics. But God and miracle and creating life truly and sustaining life and keeping all things moving, doing miracles and things that defy all, you know, what they say is science. They try to limit everything and act like God doesn't exist. That gets to the point of atheism and lies and false doctrine. Because they refuse to admit to God. In hell, in the abyss, there's a place for people and spirits who refuse to admit to the Lord and Lord's Son, Jesus Christ. So if people want to refuse to admit to that because they want to feel like they're in charge and they're powerful, they're not, and they're wrong, and they mislead people. And it's worse than the blind leading the blind. It's to the point where they're honestly just evil, and they're just corrupt, and they are jealous of God in an evil way. And if they don't believe, they don't believe. Jesus said there would be those that don't believe, but trust me, in the end, they'll know that there's something else. Because where the fuck... Sorry, excuse me. I didn't mean to curse. Where do you think they think they're going? You know? What's going to happen at the end of the line? You know what I mean? And only the people that really love God fully and really try and really care and really try to walk the walk. You know, you can't say all these things and then not do them. You got to try, you know. God said, be holy for I am holy. Jesus said, be perfect. Your Father in heaven is perfect. It means that you can actually strive and be holy and perfected. It doesn't mean, oh, everyone else is sinning and evil and gross and bad and false. Oh, I guess I'll just go along with them. No. God and His Son told us to become holy and perfect. Paul talked about us being like stones that were to be perfected, like we're souls that are to be like, you know, cleansed and shined and all this, you know, to be perfected for God. That's the point of all this. Why would God say to be holy? He is holy. Why would Jesus tell you to be perfect if He is... You know, He knew He was the Son of God. He was speaking the words of God. And He absolved a lot of sin for people. And He was trying to reconcile with people who had gone against God and teach them things in a very sad and powerful way. And anyway, just saying, I just want to review Pittsburgh and put this online because I'm telling you there's something wrong here. And all this witchcraft, people are fools. They watch movies, they got all excited, they get all hyped up on their pornography and their television pornography and their sick music and their sickening little lust. It's all a distraction. It's all to take you off the path of holiness from God. Don't lie to the children, you know, this and that. You got people, you parents, if you care, you got to watch with these schools. Don't be putting your kids in summer camps with these weirdos. These young women are like spellbound by like false doctrine and Jezebel stuff and vampire movies and all kinds of vampire witch television and programming, murders and lusts and filth, evil. And you don't want your kids being watched by these people because they're in the school doing witchcraft on them. What else? We know a lot of people have been molesting little kids too. Now, whether they molest them in physical ways or they do it by spiritual and verbal abuse or lies and distortions, it's a molestation of the spirit. And it's going to be very bad for all those people. But don't put your kids amongst them. Read the book of Job. Wisdom is fear of God. understanding is knowing to separate yourself from the wicked and to avoid the wicked. Don't be putting, as a parent with understanding, you should have understanding not to put your kids amongst the wicked. Just because these people act nice, they're like, oh, hey, hi, my name is this, oh, blah, 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 or oh, blah, 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 I'm this, blah, blah, blah. No, these people, they front. They're very lustful. Listen to the tones of their voice. Listen to the acting and the fakeness and the covering of their actual self. I'm sure if they were in a deep sleep and talking in their sleep, they're going to have a more natural voice, and that's probably how, like, God would still know them. But when they wake, they're doing all these acts and plays and all this gross, over-lustful, over-sexualized witchiness, spookiness, spooky stories, spins. Witches have been spinning things for years, not just female witches with their stupid nonsense, bibbidi-babbidi, babble-boo, ba-ba-ba, beep, blah, blah. They don't know what they're talking about, morons. They just like to sit there and play stories because they probably are child molesters. And they want the kids to believe them and trust in them when they're just full of shit. And then the males over the years have done a variety of things, but the ones that were a little more slick fooled people by cleverness, thinking, oh, okay, overly scientific with this and that, and then so you get the dumber witches and the Church of Satan type of morons that are just evil and spooky. Then you get the ones that are like scientific, using like computers and like radiology and remote neural kinds of like experimentation, evil, RoboCop, Frankenstein, etc. Gad's family left the testament. The devil had made a device out of a man, and this God hates. So they'll all be punished. But all this other stuff is a bunch of witchcraft too at some point. I can say, oh, look, here's a form of science. It says this tree's called this tree's called this flower's called this. But that's nothing but a simple observation and choosing to call something a name. That doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain the origin of all things, which is God. And they try to explain it by denying God and pressing that upon everyone. This is why the schools are closing, because nobody's telling the truth. The spirit loves God and is close to God. The angel, everybody has an angel, unless you cast your angel off, and that's a very rare happening, and it's not a good thing. You can read the Apocalypse of Paul about that. But everybody's got an angel. Your angel meets with God at night, twice a night. They tell God everything. This is why even when people try to lie and make a big plots to cover things up and lie, they all get caught anyway. Because every night your angels will tell on you, and everybody else's angel around you, and God has a huge angel over the whole earth. It all goes back to God. But people that want to deny God and don't return to God, God will perish them in the outer darkness or put them to the judgment, and Jesus will put them in dark realms or in hell. So those are the real truths and the real outcomes, and that's really what you people need to worry about. Everything's really pretty simple. So anyway, I hope we get universal basic income, new food and money credit system in the future to avoid all the counterfeits and frauds and gambling chips. Just quell this whole bank thing and restart, and just give the poor something that's to keep them from being destitute or suffering and doing crime or turning people into prostitutes, and so everybody's fed and taken care of. Because we have modern technology, it doesn't take that many people to run a farm. Doesn't mean everybody else has to die. I don't think that's what God wants, but I think he wants people to get better. And it's always been taught in Christianity to be giving to the poor and the needy. This sick, abusive state of these hypocritical cannibals and pedophiles who have their Agenda 21, New World Order, 2030, blah, 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 give everybody sicknesses and frontal lobotomies and all that they've been doing. That needs to stop. And really, it's like, just give people, because if everyone's turned into evildoers and murderers and prostitutes and pay to play and pay to murder and pay to protest and pay to burn houses and pay to rob people, well then what do we get? Nobody can trust anybody, and it's a horrible, unholy society. So it's not good for anyone. Who cares? There'll be less if everybody stays in line and gets rid of all the evil, there will be less people in prison. Good. You know what I mean? The cops, keep some cops around so they'll be on call if there's a real problem. Maybe a few drive around, but all this game of trying to exploit the police too hasn't been good. I mean, I'll tell you, there's been some corruption with the police, obviously. Criminals have been in the police too. We all know that by now. But there's good people and there's good cops too, and I think that things are getting better, and I think that they should be more of a kind of like a call if there's a real problem type of thing, have a little bit of monitoring. They should have some security cameras up in places. They really should, because they could catch a lot of this stuff from a distance, really, and just put up a camera and all over the place where there's shady things going on, you know, just say, oh, you're on camera, you know, you catch something, you catch someone, there you go, you got the evidence, you know, do something about it. And no more playing games, because the thing is, when people play too many games and they have these front ops and stings and too much counterintelligence, that's what's gone on for decades. And then when you have too much of that, then there's too many people that seem like criminals that kind of are liars still, honestly, that then it becomes a problem in and of itself too. So sticking with the advice of Christ, saying don't talk falsely, don't lie, don't act, don't pay to act, don't be paid to act, don't be paid to lie, don't be paid to advertise, don't be paid. Idle words. Another thing, advertising and all this immorality about it. Oh, they don't care. Oh, I got money for this and this. Well, what does that company do? Oh, it's killing people. You people need to wake up and think about it. The money's not worth your soul. It's not worth, you know, you going to hell. Christ said in one book, you will be judged for every idle word. So if you're going to do idle words and idle acts and take things and things don't mean anything to you and you don't care about the ethics and the politics and the evil behind it, you better wake up, because you're on the hook for being guilty for what they do if you endorse these things. So don't do idle things and don't speak idle words. You know, the fake positivity, the fake stuff. Better off just not saying anything sometimes, honestly. You know. Alright. Hopefully things get better.